Welcome to Moonlight Madness, and today we're doing a spread for the sign is fire, because I've got a lot of earth there as well, but there's more fire in this spread than what there is earth. So the first card I got was the Ace of Arrows. This is a Lover's Tarot spread by Lover's Path Tarot by Chris Walderer. And the first card I pulled is the Ace of Arrows. That to me is like a download, an intellectual download. You may be getting messages while you're sleeping of future events that are going to happen. You may pop this idea or this sense of deja vu. When it happens, you'll remember it was from a dream that was trying to tell you something very significant. I usually get woken up around 3:34, and it's usually with a vision. When my body temperature drops, I get visions, or if I increase my body temperature, I get too hot in bed, I will have a vision. Even when I'm actually walking in daylight. So they call them daydreams, I think. I just happen to have them a lot. It is an intellectual card. It talks about making logical, rational decisions based on the facts you have before you. It says in the recent past you've got here in this deck, we're going down through, I think it's, the first card we read is 11, 12 and 13 cards, which is a very unusual way to do a reading. But this is the Lover's Path Tarot, so it's a bit different to every other way of doing a card reading. So we've got here 11 to 13 is to be read together. So it's talking about, this is past, which represents the past. We've got the Seven of Staves, which talks about having to be on guard. You're guarding yourself against being hurt, or maybe you've got very guarded towards other people's attacks on you, whether they are psychological, emotional, or physical abuse from a person that was a water sign. This is Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. You may have felt attacked verbally, or maybe they attacked your reputation in order to make you feel smaller than them, is what I'm getting. The King of Cups is also very an emotional card. Pisces, Scorpio or Cancer card, they are very good, very fatherly. They have like a paternal side to them. They may care too much about family and friends and people that are like family. So if you hurt their family, then they will come after you with everything they have. They're very emotional. They can be very narcissistic. They can be people that don't suffer fools gladly, and when they do lash out, they lash out in a big way. So then we've got the Four of Arrows. This is also a card of rest. You may have had to rest on this relationship because it wasn't progressing how you had wanted it to. You may have felt very on guard against this person. You may have become very unwell because of this person's actions towards your reputation or ways or means to make money, so you became ill from stress and worry in the past. Now we've got here in the recent future, we're moving to 1 to 3. This is the present for you. So if you are a fire sign, you've come up as yourself. You've come up as the Princess of Staves, which is someone who is very fiery, very good looking, very charming. You may get lots of admirers. The Brunhilde is the one that they've represented as Princess of Staves. It represents you may be a fire sign, or you may have Sagittarius, Leo or Aries in your natal chart, which you can look up online if you wanted to look into what type of influences have on your star sign the moment you were born. You may be born at a certain hour, which would mean your ascendant is in Aries, which is fire. Or you've got a natal placement with fire. You may have two placements, like you might have Sagittarius in your chart as well. Now, they're very passionate, they're very fiery, they're good marketing campaign people. They can sell ice to Eskimos, they can run up a marketing campaign and make a killing from it because they're good at events. You may have been an events manager in the recent past, whether it be organising events. We've got here, you're very fiery, you're very passionate, you've very organised. You could run a small army and still come home and do a birthday celebrations for 30 people. The next card I've got is the Hermit. This card is to do with contemplation. So it's talking about being a bit of a hermit right now. You may have gone within, wanting to be on your own, to, deal with certain aspects of the past that you were still coming to terms with, or working through some emotional things you have yet to work through. So you may have like in a resting phase. You're in the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is like feeling very blah, not very excited about anything, not looking forward to anything, not having anything positive to look forward to. You just wanting to be left alone is what it's saying. You just don't really want to entertain anyone at the moment. I think you may have just wanted time away from everyone. It's also communication, enthusiasm. You need to listen to inspiration. An inexperienced young person who may be very passionate but not very experienced. So it says that you may be passionate about causes that you believe in. Now in the future, on their side, where they are right now, is they are coming up as very upset, having nightmares about you, being really worried about having nightmares about you, don't wanting to go to sleep so they see more bad news. They may have got themselves into a real mess. They may have gotten someone pregnant. The Empress's pregnancy, fertility, and it talks about Cleopatra and Caesar. The great love of Cleopatra was Caesar, and they had children. They say they had twins, I think, and before she was killed by an asp, which was a snake. But it's saying that it was a very productive. The Empress is all about being the four signs, the four major arcana. The Empress represents all four. She could be a queen of wands, she could be a queen of cups, a queen of air, and a queen of earth. She's all those people rolled into one, so she's really in an exalted position. The Empress is. So we've got here, ruling over one's life, a new marriage or special relationship, practical action that manifests as a physical product, children, artistic endeavours, or wealth. She may be quite wealthy, because you've got the Ten of Coins here as well. And the Ten of Coins to me is like very wealthy. You've got assets behind you. So this person may be quite cashed up, but they're tied down to a person that's had their children with them. They may be in a relationship and they don't really want to be there. It might be a nightmare relationship. They don't know how to escape, because it means they're going to have to dig into their Ten of Coins, which is their inheritance from the passing of parents or grandparents. And they don't want to dig into any more of that, because maybe they've already used some of that to fund this person's lifestyle, because they can't live where they used to live because this person won't live there. They want to live in their country. So there could be a case of distance as well. They may be distant from their partner, or they may be upset that they're distant from you, that you're in a different country to them and they are stuck with holding the baby, holding the children. The next card I've got is the Five of Arrows, and this is talking about fighting and arguing. People around you are arguing, being very petty. Five of Arrows is to do with five people fighting. So there might be five main players that keep stirring up issues that are past and they still want to fight over it. Distrust, arguments, lack of trust that leads to conflict, possible feelings of defeat, the need for self-protection or caution, discomfort or struggle with the situation. Yeah, you may be struggling with five people. Then you've got here the Ten of Cups. This is what is coming for you. This is the ideal outcome, is that the family all gets along and they're able to work together and be in a happy union, making decisions for the entire family. There may be a lot of fighting, anger, words that are said that can't be retrieved. Once you've said them, you can't take them back. It's granting of wishes. It's also a reunion with a loved one. Some consider this card to be the wish card. Sorry, wrong card. This joyful closure, it is deep emotional satisfaction, endurance in love relationships, expansion of family or friends in your community. So you're going to maybe meet people in your community that become like family to you. Then we've got the Devil. The Devil card talks about Francesca and Paola. It's the Devil card's temptation. So the temptation is that you're the temptation for them, because they're married and you're single. So you may be just very tempting to them and they really want to act on their impulses, but they can't because they're still married. Or maybe they still will act on their impulses even though they are married. Temptation is the devil, inner turmoil, obsession. They may be obsessed with you, or you may be obsessed with them. Francesca de Polenta of Ravenna was married to Giovanni Maltasetta to strengthen their family's political bonds. They may be married because of political, trying to stop war. But there was one problem. Francesca loved Giovanni's brother, the handsome Paola. Tempted by love, Francesca and Paola's story only could end in sorrow. These true events inspired the poet Dante, who had a vision of Paola tenderly embracing Francesca to protect her against the forces swirling around them. In Hades, Dante retold their sad story in his Inferno, the first book of the Divine Comedy. It's tempted by forces that one cannot control. You may be tempted by an obsession with an addiction. It could be an addiction to food, drugs, sex, or alcohol. And envy, and sensual desires, the need to be controlling. So you may feel that you can't control events in the family situation because it's beyond your control, because someone else is looking after your family and they have the say on what goes with your family. You may have had no choice but to not abandon them, but to leave the situation that was chaotic in order for the house to be at peace, so that the children weren't going to be affected by the fighting and the anger issues with both parties, the warring parties. You may have had family try and step into something that was your business, not theirs. They've stuck their nose in. You don't want the intrigue. You don't want the intrusion of these people. And they may be really hard to get rid of because they are family, and you have to deal with them. You can't avoid them entirely, but you will have to deal with them because of your own family that's involved, your small family. And I've got the Ace of Coins. This is the overall outcome. There is some type of gift that's coming to you, being offered, whether it be gift of money, a place to work, a free workspace in a place that you can do what you do from home. You may be able to rent, I don't know, not an apartment, but a room in a building, so you can do this sort of work, this sort of tarot card readings, and what you do. Maybe you do healing, maybe you do like Reiki, and you want to do all of it under one roof, and you wanted to rent this little room out. I would love to do that. I'm in a studio apartment at the moment, but it would be good to have something separate from where I go to sleep. And my living conditions are quite close quarters, so people can hear what I'm talking about. Not everyone's on board with what I do. Now, I do tarot cards, I do crystal healing, I do energy channeling, and I do psychometry. I read jewelry. I read pretty much anything that's got an energy to it. So you could have an item of clothing. I channel messages from that clothing. I may touch a pair of shoes that you once wore and get imagery of past and present and future imagery. That's how I channel messages. My hands are very hot all the time, and I've been told I have healing hands. When I do massage, people feel the heat and they instantly relax. I really don't need to use a lot of pressure. I use natural therapies. I use Natio products. I love the Natio relaxation massage oil. I use that. I'm a trained beauty therapist, and I'm also a trained, I've done hairdressing, and I've also done beauty, as in beauty salon, a beautician. I've done that as well. I'm going back to retrain in that field because I enjoyed it. I'd like to get back into that path again. That's what made me happy. It's what I was passionate about, helping others make things look beautiful when they walk out the door. So maybe you're looking at contemplating of, the hermit may be talking about you studying and going back to school and studying this new venture, or an old venture that's new again because it's changed. And everything changes within 10 to 15 years. You have to retrain. This is what I was told. When I finished that course, it was back in 2010, they said the book was going to be obsolete by the time we finished it. We'd have to restudy what we just learned because they'd written up something new. So it's a constant evolution of knowledge. We can't give up to it. The knowledge that we learn, we can't give up because we're learning new things, and we're studying new things and improving things all the time. So the Ace of Coins, I'm going to read it out of the book, what it says, because it might have a different symbol, but I see it as a hand of God giving you a gift of money, or giving you a gift where you can use it that's practical. Fertility, growth, prosperity, the beginning of a new phase filled with good fortune, attainment of material goals, contentment in personal life. Yeah, good fortune. Well, that's really good. Now, I've been working with oils on my face. I use peony. The peony is a beautiful flower, and it has a symbolism back to Apollo and his bride. And there was another person involved that was also in love with Apollo, and he got hurt. And she was turned into a flower by this, I guess, demigoddess. She turned the girl that he loved into a flower, and she was a peony. Now, the thing with the peony is that when he got hurt trying to save her, she bled all over him. The flower, the sap from the flower, the peony, is a milky substance that heals. So when he got hit or struck in trying to fight for her. She healed him by bleeding all over him. Maybe that's a lesson in that, is that you don't always have to bleed over everyone else. Just because you've suffered the pain, you don't need to bleed all over other people until you are healed. Heal yourself first before you engage or try to bring in someone new. Because the same thing will happen because you've still got all that pain from the last relationship. So this is advice for the fire signs. Do not enter into a new situation until you've healed from the last one. And this pain that comes from the last one could have gone on over 10, 15 years that you're still recovering from. It still hurts you. You're still dealing with the pain. That's all I have for you today. This is a reading for the fire signs for the Lover's Path, Moonlight Madness, Sun, Moon and Rising. Put a like in the comments if you like something that I've said in this reading, and hit the share button. I'd really appreciate the following. Thank you.